It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas and we have wonderful guests. And I have a very popular guest today that you're all probably familiar with, and that is Jenny Lee. And we're going to talk about 3D.
Hey.
And whatever else comes up, right, Jenny?
Right. Yeah.
So how have you been?
I have been good. I mean, everything's I think good. We're in the days of the change. And so I think a lot of realms on the other side are really starting to interact with ours. And,
kind of merging like?
Yeah, it's merging, but I mean it's dropping truth bombs everywhere. And I think it's consistent on what they want to be shown, and following the path of the light and to the bridge across the golden bridge. And and this is the biggest thing, like I think people are in a fear process, but this is where we're at, is we can't go back. There's nothing behind us, the foundation. We can't go back. And that's the thing that has changed on our process, is we have to go forward. We have to have the strength to go forward and go into this new process. So when everybody says, I want it back the way it is, there is no back to the way it is, or it was from the past. The foundation.
Why would you want it?
I know, but some people are just saying that because I think in a way they think that's more controllable, but it's not. It was just what they wanted you to see that was controllable.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So anyway, it's a part of that process of where we're going. We have to go forward. We have to get to the other side now.
And we're going to love it so much more once we get there.
So, I think, sorry, I kind of threw something at Gail before we go. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things from our past that are presenting and letting you know that they're witnessing and seeing your ride to this situation, where we're going. And they're proud of the ones they're coming in and telling you they're proud of you, and I think that's what your mom's trying to tell you. She's proud of you, and that's the thing. So, so the whole thing is, when the life that they were here, they learn when sometimes they get on the other side, and then they want to come back and tell you. And so that's the thing, that
we can talk about that a little bit, Jenny. I'm okay. It just makes me a little misty-eyed.
I know. So it just came together before I got on the show with Gail, and it just whoo. So
go ahead and explain it to you. My mother came to you,
yes.
Right?
And so right before I got on the show, and I never know, because I never look for it, I wait for them to present. And then she just described herself and her demeanor and how she passed on and all that stuff. And then she just wanted you to know that she's aware of looking at you and the things of the past, wanting to clear the air, go through it, and tell you that she completely understands, and that you were tougher than most. You were. So she knows that. So, I mean, so
I didn't get to see her in her last days.
right.
It was interesting because she was dealing with some dementia from all the who knows how many shots they got and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
And there was already arthritic issues and a lot of things. And so it's just amazing that she came to you.
Right.
And,
And that's just because I'm a clear voice with them. I'm going to say it the way exactly they want me to say it. I don't add to
Okay.
it. And that's why I don't add to it. When they want to show up, they want to show up. And that's the thing. I mean, I think she's really proud of you and didn't understand back then, but really understands now of where you are. And I don't think she would want you any other way by seeing it from a different view now, knowing.
Yeah, I was the black sheep. They didn't understand me.
Right.
And
And so, I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's just I think today she just figures you need to hear this. You need to know that I'm observing you and what you're doing and how strong you are. And I think she knows that. So
that's awesome.
talk about more after the show since she wanted in at a certain time. But yeah, I just wanted to.
And that's interesting too, because in a meditation not very long ago, she came through very strongly. A feeling came through, and it was my mother, and it was love.
Yeah.
And
she's just trying to represent that and get you to acknowledge your value. She says your value of yourself, as I see it different. So now she sees it completely in a different way, which is great. So, and everything that you're doing daily, she says, daily. So you get up, you got the strength to do it. Some wouldn't be able to.
That's good to know. That makes me feel good. It really does. I didn't feel very supported by my family. In fact, I left the area because of that. But I always did have a special closeness with my mom. When we were alone, that's when things were
yeah, and
special.
she's showing that she's like, you had that voice that I didn't have. Your voice was a little louder than mine, and there's a little more density to mine when people were like, you stood outside the line where she couldn't completely do that. That's what I think she's really proud of.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating. So this is kind of an example, really, of the realms kind of coming together with different truths and so on.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. The whole process is people don't realize on the spirit side they're witnessing this. The ones that passed on, they're witnessing. They're going to be a part of this. I mean, they're not getting the funding because they don't need it, but it's ancestors' sweat, blood, and tears that you're going to have the abundance for. And so that's the whole process. Is they're excited too. They're in this process of witnessing it too. And I think we tend to forget about that. We get into a process where everybody passes on. And then we kind of lay that to the side, but we're not looking from their view of seeing what they're seeing. They're like, wow, this is our ancestors would have loved to have been here.
And my mother, she had Edgar Casey's books, Nostradamus stuff. She was the more awake one of my mom and dad.
Right.
But my dad was a hard worker. He was just working all the time.
Right. But I believe that your mom, when she got married, there was a package deal of, everybody sells how marriage is and all this, how great it is. And then at the end is like, well, I got ripped off. This is not, I wanted something for herself. Do you understand? To flourish herself, and it didn't go out that way. And I feel that, and as she goes, it's back to the voice. I should have spoke up.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. but she's just got a lot of respect, and it says, and she's saying at a young age you showed that spirit that was different, very young. That was
really?
different from everybody else. So she's showing me that too.
Hmm.
So very older photos, older black and white. When you took the Polaroids and how old they were and how thick they were. She's showing me those type of pictures that were that old.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so, yeah. So we can go into that personal stuff later.
Okay. Yeah, that's really, it's awesome because I love my mom. She needs to know that too. I saw things in her too that she's probably not aware of. I never felt real comfortable talking about that much except when we were alone.
Right.
And yeah, I have some special moments that I remember about her. And the one thing that
she didn't have the psychological abuse when she was younger.
Oh yeah,
my
grandfather was very mean, and that had a lot to do with it, and very sexist as well. So those kinds of things came into play.
Yeah,
it's conditioning, programming
Yeah.
that we all can get subjected to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think mediumship's kind of funny because sometimes I have the client in front of me and I don't know until I open the door what they want to say the way they say it. And sometimes the client in front of me is like, I don't want to talk about that. I go, but they do. You know what I'm saying? So they want to control what they have to say. I get a lot of the times, and then they don't have a choice to hear. And then they finally, okay, I'll listen to what she has to say because and that's the way it always is with mediumship. I kind of let them have the reins to speak their truth on things.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes they're very blunt and honest, and the client's not expecting that to hear it the way that they see it. Or, you know what? One of the fixating things is on women. They, in the older generation, they are always asking about their jewelry or their personal items of rings. Where is that? I haven't seen you wear it. Where'd you put it? I mean, it's just funny how, and then she goes, I have it in my closet packed away, and pictures they get personal about having it out and just displaying things. It's really funny how they do that. Yeah, it's they're particular on that, photos, blankets that they've made, that kind of stuff. They're on their particular things that they felt close to them when they were here. Mm-hmm. And it's never the car or some big item. It's really something personal that they really.
What was interesting, one of the things I'd like to share too is that when the last time I saw my mother, my brothers and sisters who lived in the same area said that she wouldn't know me, she wouldn't recognize me. Mm-hmm. But she did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they reside with
you. And that touched my heart because I didn't want them to go into assisted living. I had offered to take care of my parents, but they wouldn't let me.
Right.
They said I couldn't handle it.
Right.
My brothers and sister. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway.
Well, I know that feeling. They want to be in control. So yeah, I mean, they're particular on certain things. And I did one reading where I had a female wanted me to come into the house, and the male husband was against it. He didn't believe in anything. And then I said, just pull out each picture that you want to talk to. And I started going into it. And when I started, I was in the kitchen with her. By the time I was done, he was sitting right by me because I talked about his father and the affair that the father had with a female and describing the female. And then he looked at the wife. He goes, you didn't know this. I knew it. I'm the only one that knew that my dad had an affair with this woman. And then their whole demeanor just flips. All they want to do is talk about everything because it's that one personal situation that resides, and I like to call it the DNA. So that's the whole thing is his whole demeanor changed because he knew I was talking to his father and a woman that he really loved versus the one that he was with his mother he didn't want to be with. He just described it that way because the mother was abusive.
Oh, wow.
And so, and then when the wife that he has presently, this is his father he's talking about, didn't even know. So that was the thing that changed. Whoa.
Wow.
It
Wow.
resides in, and, you know, and just in that whole process of, and they're not all love and light. They say, they cuss, they say certain things, and their personality on the other side. It's not all this light. People think they say things the way that they would describe here that you would know it was them. So,
well, I read somewhere, I don't know if it was truthful or not, but it was a study and said people that swear are more honest.
they are, and then I get a lot of them on the other side that used to be like that too, and they still are, in that way. And sometimes before I even go anywhere, they're already downloading the information, so I'm already set for what I need to say. I had this young kid; he was busted up inside, and all the spirit showed me before I even say anything. He showed me the whole atmosphere that this kid was in his garage, just drinking all the time because he couldn't deal with his dad dying, and just describing old canisters of the coffee, where the money was in the coffee, the layers of the barn and everything. And I just kept talking, and he hit the floor. He hit the floor of the anguish of the relief that he wanted to know that his dad was talking to him. And I mean, it switched his whole soul. And he says, and I talked to him probably a year later. He goes, "You don't understand, that night changed my life." Because a lot of people are just waiting for that communication from the other side, not forcing it, just let it happen naturally.
Wow, that's fascinating. And that's going to become easier and easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you see happening as we leave 3D?
That's the thing where I keep telling everybody that the healers are going to be so important. Once we get through this, I mean, no one's going to go to the doctor anymore. Like, no, thank you. So they're really going to.
I know, I'm already that way.
They're going to dive down the metaphysical side and find naturopathic doctors and natural remedies and gardens and all that stuff. So, you know what? The hospitals they're going to be like ghost towns. No one's here. No one's, once they have found out, it's like, we're done. We're done. It is. It will literally be that way. And then I call them the new technical energy ones those will be around the corner and be popular. So they'll be shutting doors. And so, I think I've showed you one that I saw one standing up, those devices where if you go from, it's a common thing just to walk through it to make sure you don't have anything that's changed or shifted. And so it's just like going through a door in your house. They're going to have these in your home, some of them, when we get to a certain point, that are going to be a lot easier. Right now, we think of those devices as like the major Ferrari that, everybody wants to get near and get into. Mm-hmm. And then, maybe in, 5 years, you're going to see them commonly, those machines be able to be in our homes. How could that happen? How can that possibly be? Well, if we don't have the control that has been supposed to have helped us, but actually done the reverse. Can you imagine where we've been in 100 years?
Yeah,
we would be just advanced.
And in
If
a
they
beautiful
let us
place, I'm
have what
sure.
the devices that we needed to have at the time we needed to have it, we would have been way past this stage. Way past this stage. So, and that's the thing, is they're cutting the cords of allowing you to see everything and open things up. And so now it's advancement coming in and acceptance, and that's the whole process. Like I said, that one age group that I'm concerned about is the elders. Because the elders are used to suffering. The elders are used to going through pain and all this stuff, and knowing that something has not completely healed it. And so I'm afraid that their conscience will not be in fear of going through these. And I think that just for that alone needs to be some type of not to say counseling, but very much a session of communication that people can talk to them and build their trust to allow them in there. People don't understand.
What age are you referring to when you say elder?
Oh, like 75 to 100
and over. Okay.
Yeah, they're not. They are going to be very suspicious. There are some that, and there are some that aren't, but there are a lot that are very suspicious before they go through that process.
Yeah, it's from programming and conditioning over the years for so much of their life. And plus, let's face it, somebody, the amount of toxins and calcification of the pineal gland and so on, they've been exposed their entire life. Even if they started detoxing at a late age, they would still be probably, it takes time.
Right.
That doesn't happen overnight. And then
Yeah.
many of the, now Tim Potter's just saying many of the, it is so true. So true. Sadly, many in that age bracket were tricked into taking it. Yes.
Right. Because they went by what they have taught, or been taught and known, and that they were safe.
Well, they actually believed the government was in their, had their best interests in mind. They actually believed in things that weren't true, because they were deceived by the great deceiver.
Right. Exactly. And so now to build that trust again, but also they're very visual people. So when they see a person going in it and seeing the change, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be stunned. But a lot of them are in such pain. They're like, what do I have to lose?
Exactly.
What do I have to lose? I'm just going to take a chance, because the alternative is not great. So yeah, I believe that I talked to a client a couple of days ago that, he's wanting to help them in that process too, because there's going to be a need for that, a huge need. So, and like I said, I think the healing process is the future. And like, I'm doing these new meditations that are just blowing my mind, and it's literally moving past the matrix visual. And when you're steady and paying attention, it's breaking down. So I'm having a good effect on that, but it's blowing my mind too, of how this world is changing, how energy is changing, how frequency is changing, and how if we slow down a little, you can see everything. You can develop in everything. You can see beyond the matrix. And that's where they said 5D, people over here, 3D over here, you're going to start to see it in layers. And I'm seeing that happen. It's changing.
I get it. I see it too. Probably not as clearly as you do, but I do see it. But Kevin said, wisdom does not lie in being able to see things, but in being able to see through things. Humanity is becoming wiser, because we have been deceived over so many things.
Right.
Because we trusted, because we believed, because we were conditioned to do so.
Yeah, and the next generation is going to go, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it.
That's good.
I don't care what you have to say. I want you to prove it before I do anything. Even with this transition of the system of how we pay for things, when they tell you exactly how they're going to do it, I mean,
Oh shit!
it's going to take a while.
Sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. I'm going to turn
It's
it
going
off
to
right
take a
now.
while for us to think that, well, is that money going to be there every month?
Turn off the phone.
You know, is it
Exactly.
that's
Sorry
going to be
about that.
that's going to be a shock to the system. What they're going to take care of us? It's like it's like no way. That's how bad we've gotten. We can't trust you because we're like, where's the wizard behind this? You know, is he coming out? You know, some big joke because I don't believe this. So that's what I'm saying is consistency, but true consistency. That is, you're seeing consistent and it's true and it develops. There, and they'll start to follow that. But I'm like I said, once they get funding, everybody's going to stand at attention and just be frozen in time, going, well, I'm not going to piss anybody off. I'm not going to say anything because I want to keep this going. You know what I'm saying? You will see a lot of people shut up. I'm telling you, will. Because they're like, I ain't saying nothing. That will get people's attention right away. I'm telling you. Across the world in an instant. Because, like I said, that responsibility goes off their shoulder. And they're like, what a relief. You know, that struggle of every day, of feeling that entanglements of that struggle, and they can breathe. That's a gift on its own to give to humanity.
Yeah, are you talking about financial freedom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. That
It's
is
huge.
real big. I mean, you think all the time, well, I got to do this because I have to, because I got to be able to pay this. I got to be able to pay that. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Right.
It's like you're not in control of your own life because of it.
Right. You're not.
And
so, and when they do have that control, and then they realize that the middleman will no longer be there, like everybody's getting these fake IRS notes that are coming from.
Yes, and I know some people that are actually buying into it. No.
And they're like, and people are getting sucked into it. I'm like, even the paper on there, it needs to be much thicker than it looks like it got copied. And just the whole process of that, you got to do your research, know that it's down. But people are, and then one of my friends, she used her card once and then realized, and then the bank called and said, hey, those are frauds. Those are not the original. So,
well, that's interesting about the fraud thing, because I've heard that, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I just heard or read that banks, in order to stall on getting you your funds and so on, and sometimes not getting them at all, are saying that, you got fraud and now you need a new card that way, and you got to wait for this new card, that kind of thing.
Well, what I do know too is what I heard too, and is where the banks were in sync with the IRS, and now they're not, because they can't say, hey, we're the big bully that's going to come in and tell you we're going to go into your account. Well, the banks can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and they had free access to our trust accounts as well.
Right. It's
that
done.
Many people don't even know that they had,
Right.
Unfortunately. But yeah.
And I think I saw
so do a lot of the government systems, a lot of the different departments that are going to be shutting down. They had that same money stream, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. And I think was it Congress or someone I barely get the news, but I saw clips of it where they were cross-examining an IRS agent, and so yeah, and they're going to go after them. They're going after all of them, and don't be surprised, if you get your ancestors' freaking money back. So
well, it's been generations that they've been robbing people blind, and And it really took a lot of work and fortitude for people to try to stay ahead of the game.
Right. And
unless you were lucky to
that
get into a very well-paying position of some sort,
right. So, I mean, I just really talk to an accountant, have an accountant look at those papers, and then my accountant says, just send them a letter. You send them a letter, and they're not going to respond back to that letter, and then there's, it's just a big scam. And then sincerely, the IRS. That's a corporation. They don't sincerely care.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw that.
They made everything into corporations,
Right,
everything.
exactly. So
And that is where profit is the main goal, not the people.
right.
And
Exactly.
it's very same thing happened with the program that so many people bought into that we were talking about previously, and went ahead and did that. And they really targeted the older population before, before all the information started coming out, knowing that I don't know, I just knew right out the gate that it was no good, but a lot of people didn't, and unfortunately got sucked into a lie. And that happened especially with the older population, because they, it's all part of a very
and the thing is, this is what
program.
I mean, you're say, we're, in our 50s or 60s, but I want you to look at the people of the 70s and 80s, what they've been through. I mean, they had just adapted to the stuff that was take it. So that reality of them coming to a point that they don't have to worry. They don't have to worry about their food. They don't have to worry about their housing. They don't have to worry about their rent. They don't have to worry about their health. That surrealness is just a lot to take in and accept it, and not being in pain. That's the biggest thing. To not be in pain and suffering is huge. It's huge.
Oh, yes. I mean, how do you keep your vibration up when you're in pain? Not very easy.
Right. And they all want to be independent. They don't want to be codependent on their relatives. They want to be independent, making their own decisions. I think that's one of the biggest things I see with the elder when they pass on and I do mediumship, is they are like, I was not going to rot in the bed. I was not going to be codependent to someone. They have their pride. I get a lot of that when I'm doing readings, because they couldn't handle it. They just wanted to go, because they got to a point. They're like, when you take away my independence, and one of the biggest things I hope this cures is dementia.
Yeah.
That's a big
one. Yeah, any of this just made any of it in that direction worse. And how many years have they been, dumping chemicals in our food and water and air?
Right.
And the longer you live, the more of it that you've been contaminated with.
Well, I would just tell you right now, everybody needs to buy tuning forks and tune into that and shake the hell out of your system to get those particles to break down right now.
How about some 432?
Yeah, 432, 962. So
are different numbers.
It's there to access.
I always just want to mention that Kevin mentioned the fact that the church had been hijacked didn't help matters any.
No,
because they purported a lot of lies to people.
Yep,
and a lot of worthlessness and limitation, and this will only happen if this, that, or the other thing. It's yeah.
Right. So I want to talk about something that Spirit downloaded on to me, and I've my group on Signal. I posted in there because Spirit says, keep looking at the blue backgrounds on these.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're bringing in all these backgrounds of these blue backgrounds. I'm like, oh my God, it's making consistent patterns with these ones that we know are not real, and that they are showing who they are by not looking the same as the person looked 2 years ago or whatever. But and then they can't move. They're just kind of like this stillness and shows this one scene in the back, and they look very close to the wall. And I'm talking there's probably 10 or 11 I've seen.
That
Now,
many?
yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I get a download in my head that does that, I'm like, I've got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. So I've been looking, and it's paying more attention. So, people would say a green screen. I'm like, look for the blue in the back. For the blue is, I don't know whether it has something to do with the clone or how it looks or how the camera looks, but why is it blue? And why does it seem to show consistency on that pattern of that? I don't know. But I mean, if you look at it, I'm just telling people, look what you get. Find it. Do your own research. Look at it. Watch them all flip to some pink background. Just saying.
Yeah, it's very unusual because they didn't have those kind of backgrounds before.
Mm-hmm.
And now they totally changed and they look more
confined.
Stoic.
Confined.
Or confined. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Confined. So, listening audience out there, that might be something you want to look for. Watch for the people with the blue background that look different.
Yes.
I mean, they look similar, but they look different.
There are also some backgrounds like you can do on a lot of the programs. You can put your own background, but you can pretty much tell those fake images, background, tropical or whatever. I think Ismail shows a lot of those, how he does a show and there's those backgrounds. That's obvious. They have those. But I'm talking about the ones that are trying to act like it's not obvious and they have nothing in the background. I'm just telling you there's something going on, and their movement is important too.
Yes. So that's definitely true. And this is a true statement from Kevin too. We were all born into a form of slavery.
You're hearing the same voice, however they recorded it, but you're not getting, it's not matching the image. And then the back screen is not matching either. So there's a lot of things that they're kind of showing you, but you're not paying attention.
Uh-huh. So pay attention, look closely, everyone.
Yeah, and I got that as a download. I'm just like, what are you talking about? And they're like, the blue background. Look at it. And I had to sit there for days. Okay, I just saw that background with who? And I put it together. And so, there's stuff going on. But, and also, everybody's making deals. You've been caught with your hands dirty. Just like any situation, are you going to make a deal? Are you? And then you're going to have your followers still listen to you, and you will say what we need you to say and adapt to that process. So I believe there's a lot of that going on, but also I believe they're bringing in the truth with false too on some of them to confuse you. You know what I'm saying? But to get you to look for information, match the information up, do the research on it too. So this is a massive chess game.
Right. I try to find 3 sources that are saying the same thing, 3 independent different sources.
Yeah, it is just bounces around. You notice that. And they go from one to another.
Yeah.
One to another. And that's why I say look for major details that none of them have. That shows you their own independence thinking instead of being, because you notice it's like one person will get one information and then they bounce it around. Like, let's do the example of when the cell phone was supposed to fry your brain. You were just, remember when that stuff happened, when they were all talking about, the cell phone, you got to put the cell phone in your microwave and all this stuff that they were saying. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding. That was what, 2 months ago? And that guy had a big platform and was just feeding that. And then guess what? Everybody else jumped on that bandwagon and you just see it, and that's the thing. When you see that consistency of that doing that, you back up. you analyze, and you figure out the situation on your own. What are they trying to distract with us?
That's what you really have to think, isn't it? You really have to stop and, okay.
On your own.
Yeah, they have us looking over here. So what's going on over here? Because that's probably why they're distracting us here, because of what's going on over there, kind of thing.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. And that's where I was getting, I mean, I did a download. I talked about the angels. And I think a week later, they showed some more pictures of angels. And then I'm like, oh, there's too much limelight on the angels. Oh, no, we can't make them look like they're the light, that they are good ones. They are the noble ones. What did we have to do? We have to come in and put some dirty ass spiritual language in there and make them look like they're the bad ones. That's a very twisted way they do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and
they are twisted. There's no doubt about that.
They are twisted. They are twisted. But they all have to show who they're loyal to, but at the end of this anyway. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. Because that deck clock does tell you a lot, and
Oh yeah, too bad I don't have you don't have a picture of it that you could share, do you? I don't have it up, but anyway, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you just go into there and it's consistent. I mean, they're not putting demons up there. If they put demons up there, they would be happy. You know what I'm saying? But that's angels up there, and their pattern and their consistency of who they are and they were in the future. Yeah, there were fallen angels, but there are the ones I call them of the light that were the loyal ones, and they don't want that to be seen. They don't want you to think of that presence. They don't want you to call in that presence. They don't want you to be protected by that presence. So it's like anything else, just dirty the name up as much as you can. But let me tell you, people on this earth has had too many good experiences with angels, whether it has saved them out of a situation in atmosphere, car wrecks, in a hospital, in dreams. You cannot erase that. That is impossible. And I think there was a guy on Instagram that looked like a Fabio wannabe was really putting that whole system down. And so the thing is, it's just, people are paid different ways to do certain things. And if they think that money is going to be the end result of this situation, but they chose the wrong side, because money in the future is non-existence of our future. We don't need it.
And there's people out there right now that are trying to prepare for the change that they anticipate is forthcoming, and are opening different accounts and getting crypto and things like that.
Yeah, and spirits have said gold and silver. They have preached that in me for years, and then I was just like, that's all I've looked at, analyzed, and put into that process. And the thing is that what people understand, it's a checklist that we're down to. It's not tomorrow night at noon, or how this world changes on time anyway. It is a checklist of things done. So then
that's a good way of putting it. I like that. Yeah,
everything is done.
That makes sense.
So there's you only have at that very moment, at the same time, all those countries at the same time are going to take that leap together, and you have that one moment to make sure everything is right. Everything is right. So when that leap is done, there's no going back. There's nothing behind you. That whole ground is going to crumble. It already is. And we are going to take that leap down that golden bridge, and we're going to make it. But that all has to be consistent energy at once, at that very time, at that very moment of taking that jump. And so it's like, but once you get on the other side, people are going to be like, And I say it'll
What a
bring you
relief.
to your knees. It'll bring you to your knees and make you humble. That is the truth. It is. It's like running a marathon. You're like, gosh, I never thought I'd be here. I never thought we would make it. You know what I'm saying? That is
Yeah.
really going to be. So I think there's going to be this sense of peace, or quietness, and then they can really look at what is going to happen next. What good things of fruits that are going to be given to us are going to happen next. And that's the thing. Like everybody is trying, that I've noticed, and a lot of the right wing are trying to throw the ambassador, the shepherd, over the bus again, like they haven't done it 20 times before.
Yeah, they'll just protest too much. I mean, come on.
The reason why you keep doing that is you can't knock him down. That is the problem. That's what makes them mad and angry. They can't literally knock him down.
Nothing sticks.
I know. I'm like, dang it. Let's try something new. And they are getting right-wing minions to throw him under the bus. It's not going to change. It's not going to. I mean, did you see the fight in 2016? He's pretty strong. Pretty strong. 10 to 15 steps ahead of the game on everything. A master chess player. Master chess.
Yes.
Master.
With some of the best guides you could ever imagine.
Yeah. Right.
Jason himself.
Right. And so, and what's behind him? Whoo! That was told for me a long time ago. He's well protected.
Thank goodness, because they've done everything they can to try to take him out already.
So, and then of course, you hear, well, he's already gone. He's this, he's that. I mean, Kim Gogan was another one that was just trying to throw him on the bus on that stuff too. It's just like
there's something personal there, big time.
Oh,
it seems that, but anyway,
it is. Yeah. It is a personal thing.
Then there's also the talk that there's two of them. There's two.
I do believe that.
One by the cabal and one by the good.
No, I don't believe that.
Real thing. It's not the cabal.
I don't believe that. I believe it's a smart game to do, but I don't believe that. I believe they're just got to not know where he is and who is he at that time.
Well, Kevin was at. Oh, go. Okay.
So I do believe that he has a copy. But it's not a clone. It's not anything like that. It's just a person that is very good at looking like him. But you have to be ahead of the game. And there he is.
Yep. Well, Kevin had a question for you, Jenny, about the QFS accounts are going to be seeded with full refunds of every penny of tax the IRS has taken from us. Do you believe that?
Yeah. Because they have it totaled. I really believe that, and this is, remember, I'm not getting this from anybody except feeling this as an energy, is your ancestors, what they paid in, how long it's been going with all the avenues of corporations that's been doing it. Yes, I believe that.
There's so many areas that we've been ripped off from that,
Yeah, it's like, I don't know where else to go. There's been so much of it that, it's got to crumble to a certain point because there's only so much, and you're already seeing it. Farmers are stepping up. Truck drivers are stepping up. The blood, sweat, and tears of this country is stepping up, and they're at the wit's end.
And parents are stepping up to the school boards.
Yes. So
yeah.
They're all stepping up. They're not going to take it no more. And so these people are really going to see how vets are really trained and how strong they are. And when they tell you something, they're not messing around. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ropes used And when it gets down to this, because I do believe that the small towns are in play of already setting a pace of, and I'm not talking about hanging them, but I'm talking about tying them up, going, you just sit there, you're not moving, just stay right there. You know what I'm saying? You're not going anywhere. So they're going to be taught a lesson on what's the bottom line with us. There's the bottom line. It's there. So, because
99.9% of humanity just wants to be left alone, and that's from the systems that have been robbing us. The court systems rob us, the education system, all, student loans, all these different things. They were taking it from our trust accounts and then turning around and making us pay them back.
Yeah.
Whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a student, any kind of loan for that matter. And then you got the people, well, you signed a loan, you need to pay. Well, you just don't understand. You don't know what's really went on here.
So I want to say something, and I want to give you a definition of the shepherd. A shepherd is leading this world in a very 5D process, okay? So I want you to think about this. When that shepherd has so much respect worldwide, in every town, in every angle, and understanding that his trueness, all he would have to say is look into the TV or any broadcast, and he knows it, and say, arm up. It's time to go. I want to tell you how fast they are already ready. He already has the army because he earned their trust. So, and that's what takes an ambassador. That's what takes a shepherd to do that. It's not something that was given to him. He earned it by earning their trust. And that's nobody can do that. If you can name someone can do that, there isn't anybody on this plane or this planet, well, except the Almighty. But you know what I'm saying? He has to say one word, arm up. You're going to see it fast. So, and that is what they're afraid of. And I'm more of God's army is what it is. It's on here, on earth, in the sky, all around you.
God's army.
Yeah, that's all he's got to say.
They are ready.
They are ready.
Wow. That's exciting, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like what you said about walking through the fire. Just keep on walking.
Yep.
Because it's just going to get better. Got to see it all collapse and be destroyed, basically. And then...
Right. So the whole thing is, I don't think they know that we're not going to.
Look at here, Jenny. Somebody picked up on one that we're talking about.
What?
It says, yeah, it's been months.
Yeah. I've been talking about.
You look different. Maybe it's me. No.
Nope.
Jenny and I said exactly the same thing.
My face is amazing, but it can't do that.
Yeah.
And I've been selling that stuff for, I don't know, 4 years. I've took the patches and stuff, but Lifeway, it's a miracle, but not that much.
Okay. So, Lenore, we agree with you on that one. You're not alone. There's another one too. I wish somebody else saw the other one. Mm-hmm. Let's see if anybody has. Very popular one.
Yeah, there are some very popular ones, and okay, I'm gonna talk about this guy. So because everybody's confused why I watch him on Twitter. You presented him to me. He was the one that I tried to get you. We talked about doing an interview with him and bringing him on as the chief police, right?
Oh yeah. He
but he's put a lot of stuff in there, and this is the thing what people don't understand. It confuses. This is the posse of confusion. Is there's the truth with the lies, okay? And then you have to discern what is right and what is wrong, right? But it gets people confused, which is a very way to take an angle to get you to think on your own, to go do your own research. But presenting it there and it sits there in massive confusion if you don't like, I don't know if this is real or not. Well, go do some research. Go look at the details of stuff. I bet you find the truth of what he's saying and how he says it. But people are like, why are you following him? And it's an energy that there's some major truth in it. And then bringing in a complete lie on top of that is like really messing with people's heads, So at the end, I'd like to see where this goes with him. And I keep posting. I'm like, I don't like your coffee. It tastes like shit, So he owns a information coffee shop. So I keep telling him that well, the coffee's not the best. I'd say, which is the information. And so you need to change the flavor. So anyway, and there you're
if I see him on other shows, I will feel that he lied to me. So
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole thing is it to get us to look at things? Is it get us to analyze things? Is it get us to call them out? Is it like looking for documentation? And people are like, and then with me, they're like, we want you to pick that information or this information. And I see things through there. I'm like, no, there's a confusion path here, but I want to try to figure it out and not just accept one way or another, mm-hmm. Which people don't, they want to force you to make a choice. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not looking at this, analyzing this. And
it's called critical thinking.
Very critical.
And a lot of that has been lost over time through conditioning and programming, and
right,
it can be overcome.
Right, it can. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff going on. But and was it Ariel off of Twitter? That guy's amazing, amazing way he's getting the information and stuff. So
which guy? Who?
I think it's Ariel. Is that his name?
Ariel? Okay, yeah, I seen that. I didn't know if it was a guy or a woman.
Yeah, I think that's a guy. But yeah, it's a and you can't change their mind. They're going to stick to what the information and post it, and then people react to it. They go on one side or the other. They freak out, or they don't, or they go and do their research, or they don't. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's getting people to get upset and go look for information. So are they trying to put out massive confusion to get you to say, hey, I'm gonna figure this out on my own?
Yeah, I got to see someone's asking, should we put our dollars into QFS now? There's a lot of people out there pushing that big time.
I just don't get that with spirit. Just gold and silver, and that's what I've been told. So, and I'm not a professional financial analytic person. I am just download, and they say gold and silver. So whatever you can put in those.
Well, let's face it, gold and silver are God's currency. Basically.
Which will go on in the future, but 3D building and creating something in 3D and trying to put it in the QFS may not work. It's not working. It's not accepting this no more. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So in other words, you're not investing in it at this point in time.
No, and I haven't.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people trying to convince me, but I just haven't gone.
Yeah, it's that is a massive product pusher out there everywhere you go. And it's not even in the consistency of, here, this could help you. It is, here, let me shove this up your butt several times before you understand what you need to do. That is aggressive. And when something is like that, I'm not buying it.
That's true. And here it is. Here we have a situation. This is the way I'm seeing it. We have a bunch of people that are trying to get a jump on the game, so they have more of that.
More money. I need more money. You know why? More money? Because I will feel like a better person if I have more money to feed the ego. And I'm saying this to get ahead of the game. How much do you need? Well, you really don't need much to be at peace on things, or what you need to pay for everything and to have everything. That's an old 3D process. we're not feeding the ego no more. We're coming to a consistence of balance now and giving back to nature, giving back to humanity. All those glamorous things are just done. We don't care anymore. Balance is what we care about into the 5D.
In love of your family and soul family.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And so, and I don't, how do I explain this? That's okay. I feel uncomfortable. I'll tell you guys this. Sitting there when they ask, well, what's your journey, how your story and all that, you see that I don't put, I just put my website because I'm like, everything that you need is there. I'm not putting blah, 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 whole
list of stuff.
Yeah.
If I had a website, I would do the same thing, Jenny. I don't have a website, but I don't like putting everything in the description because a lot of times people don't even go to the description. But if I had a website, I could put it all on the website. But I don't have one anymore because I can't maintain it myself.
Well, I know, I'm not
my shows and do everything
I know
else.
what you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a book at the end of it, and people are like, "Can you just show me where I need to go to find you?" And I don't. All the feedback, of what you do and how you do it is represented in the people. In the people, how you affect them. You know what I'm saying? There's your feedback on how you are affecting people's lives in a positive way. They will come and tell you, real people.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see ratings, everybody wants, you're doing it now. I mean, you're seeing on Facebook, they're paying people to go in and take the product and say it's a good product. They pay those people now, just like on YouTube. They pay them too.
Yep.
So authentic people that are really behind it, they have no problem telling you how they have came in front of you and how you have changed their lives. And I mean, they are pretty sure on getting that story across. Okay.
See all those cards back there?
There you go. Love. It's love. It's humbleness. You know what I'm saying? They show you. So, you yourself don't look at the people that follow you as numbers. You look at them as individuals. And that's the difference. And so do I, as individual, in an individual situation. And that's what matters. And that's what you connect with. So that's what's going to matter in the future. Well, the individual relationships and that transferring that energy and working together as one together. And that's what matters. So again, when you see Trump giving them that attention, going out of his way, shaking their hand, you know what I'm saying? They remember that because of the humbleness that he's carrying over.
Oh, there's some people that say, oh, he's so arrogant. He's this, he's that. And it's like, oh my God. When you think about, just think about this for 1 minute. If you were under the kind of fire that this man has been under ever since he came on the scene, it's just endless. Okay. Right. And then he says something positive about his own self. You don't think that somebody that is under fire like that all the time doesn't need to do that once in a while just for their own sake? It's I don't see how anybody can hold that against. I really don't.
But
it's very understandable.
It is. And so they've got their information from the media.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. That's a big problem, isn't it? When are they going to take that down? They say that it's going down little by little, and they're starting to throw little pieces of truth out there.
Well, they're throwing a lot of truth I see out there, and they're but
I would have to listen to it to be able to judge.
What's weird if you go on Twitter, anybody that's promoting the child pedo, the one that acts like he's the leader, and you kind of prove that he is that, these people are so norm to being called a pedophile, they don't even care anymore.
Isn't that pathetic?
That is sick in the head. That is beyond sickness, because they're so past the arrogance and narcissism of wanting to be on the Democratic side of being. They will go. I'm telling you, these Democrats will go sit with the devil before they tell you that Trump is right. I'm telling you, across the board.
Yep. That's a good way of putting it. You're right. That is so true. But you know what? The people aren't falling for it.
No,
they really aren't. Not the vast majority of people. And I don't even know how awake some of them are, but they're awake enough to see who cares and who doesn't care.
Right. They are. And that's the thing. Like I said, I can't get past the fact that they're supposed to have compassion, but it is not compassion when you just dismiss a child and the suffering of the child, and you just go onto your agenda and think that it's insignificant to you and that other goals are important. So it's bad.
One of the things that came to mind, and I hate to even bring the topic up, but speaking of pedos, as you were, now I wish people would get as upset about that as they do when people get into the argument of flat earth versus round earth. They get downright hostile. Why don't they get that way about pedophiles?
Yeah,
protecting the children.
Why? Because they've been programmed to protect the pedos. It's a program.
Wow.
It's a program to protect them, to stick up for them, to find an angle that lessens them being the pedo. Taking the innocence of a child, okay? This world, the next world, and infinity, you will pay. You will pay for that. You're taking...
And rightly so.
Right.
That is just so evil, so wrong, so satanic, so...
Yes. Yes.
On the wrong side, if you have to go by sides.
Right. And so it's I think Social Security, not Social Security, but social services, you're going to see a lot of those demons coming out soon.
Oh, yeah. Child Protective Services? Oh, my God. Just the opposite of protective.
Oh, yeah.
Funny how they use these words that make us think it's something good, and it's actually just the opposite.
Right. Exactly. Yes, it is. And the people that work in those services, they're so arrogant about their job and feeling that they're in control. And that's another whole program system. And then these people go home and have families and act like it's not a big deal what they're doing.
Isn't that crazy? It's just almost hard. It's hard to believe. Yeah.
Well, they're going to be seeing the cell too.
Yeah. Yeah. People here, what ends up happening is many times these children get put into a much more horrible situation, worse than they were even claimed close to before.
Right.
So it's just,
it's the sickest thing ever. And this is the thing I can say to humanity. If you don't save the children and if you don't preserve their innocence, there's nothing left to save. I would be that Jesus picture that said, flooded again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. Flood it again, please. Yeah.
Jesus with that. Smoking pot going, flood it again. I'm telling you, right? If you're at that point and you can't save the innocence of the children, and if we can't do that, flood it again. Flood it.
This is what's happening, though, that I see happening, and this is right in there was news where a couple of missionaries. I mean, it is incredible where this abuse is coming from. All the places you would least expect it. it's there in the worst way ever.
It's gross.
I thank God that people are starting to see it, but they haven't seen the half of it. And I've seen enough with a few pictures and some descriptions. If people had any idea about what is done to our children, our human children, our progeny, you would
But
be
what you're going to
so
hear from them,
appalled.
once it's evidence, I don't want to talk about it. Don't bring the subject up. I'm going to go in my house and you're not allowed to bring that subject up. The arrogance after it's all revealed. And that might be a fake movie. We don't know if that's real. That's how sick they are.
Yep. What you just said, a friend of mine actually had that happen to her. She's awake, right? And she talks about the shepherd, right? And everybody, or a small circle there, I don't talk about that over at my house. Don't bring that over here.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. When you're intolerant of even discussing something. And they said, and I'm a socialist. Well, why don't you just say what that really is? You're a communist.
Yes.
That it's just a nicer way of putting it.
Right.
Yeah, I am too, Thomas. Where did that statement go? It does. It hurts your heart to even know about some of this.
Do you remember that quote that I think, and I don't know if it was a
this is why people feel that way. It's like the movie They Live. It really is in so many ways. But that didn't even cover what they're doing to our children.
All I have to say is I'm ready for the brothers in the hood and the veterans to get together and go kick some ass. Because when folks get together,
I'm afraid it needs to be done.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It has to be done.
Know their areas, know what to do, know where to go, know where to take care of what they need to do. Because let me tell you, everybody has their rules and ethics on certain things, and they want peace too. So I'm just saying.
It is. Let's see. There was one other thing that I was going to put up there, and I'm trying to find it again. Yeah, I am horrified at the heartless too, Thomas Lynch. I am. I'm horrified. And Lenore said they can't be human. Right. They can't be. Either that or they. I can't explain it. And maybe someday we'll know. But here's another one. As soon as the wealth transfer RV happens, and we are supposed to go back to our constitutional republic on January 1, the U.S. corporation is done.
I think it's already done.
Yeah. I think we're already, it's just a matter of hitting the go button.
Yep. The green light. And then I think we will not see a debt clock at all because there is not going to be debt. So I think you're going to see a brand new futuristic system that shows you where things are going, but debt is not going to be the name. So I think they're going to show you a different.
That was all their debt anyway, that they wanted to put on us to pay and pay.
Right. So you're going to see a new system put up.
And these horrible things that are going on with our children will be coming to a complete halt.
Well, it is. And I think with I kind of like, I think what they're doing in France is getting in their tractors and their semis and dumping manure on their government.
Yeah, they were spraying it.
Yes. No, I think
they're gross.
That's not crazy. That only could happen in Minnesota. I'm telling you that they can start spraying and dumping that everywhere because trust me, we have enough of it. And that's not something you can get rid of the smell or where it goes. We can saturate the buildings and that stuff. So we haven't gotten to that point of pissing off the farmers yet, but once you do, there's nothing you can get past some of that equipment. It's so big and so large, and construction, all of them, they'll come together. Not only will they put manure on your building, but they will also take a bowling ball to it and a wrecking ball and just diminish it. They'd rather see it crumble than it go the way it's going. Don't underestimate them.
Yep. Okay, this is true. One thing to remember, these monsters have no soul, no feelings, and no compassion. That's your clue right there that they've lost their
Because
humanity.
they are not,
If they ever had it.
they don't look at children as the innocents. They look at it as that they are the predator, and that is a meal to them in a different way.
Yeah, that's sick. Let's see. Trying to go through the questions and see if there's any more questions or comments that we should put. You're right, it can't be reversed. Creator light in reverse, it can't be removed. So everything is changing in a good way. I mean, it doesn't look like it at this point in time.
Mhm.
Well, I see it though, and I'm sure there are others that do.
Right.
So listen to this. Okay, somebody says, we don't know what the figures are. I heard years ago that 500 million people will be arrested in the end. Any thoughts?
Pretty close. Pretty close. And then you're looking in your neighborhood going, well, they're gone, and they're gone, and they're gone, and they're gone. Why? That's what's going to be shocking.
Yeah, especially in the more affluent neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Let's see. They hate humans. Yeah, that's true. They do. Because we have something they can't have. We have a divine spirit and connection. They don't. Yeah, I listened to that same interview by that rabbi. It's disgusting. Finkelstein or something like that, I think is his name. I don't remember for sure, but it was horrible. I read it. Let's see.
Yeah, I've been doing these intel readings because people they have like 20 questions. They want to get every detail and every process so they can check the list as things happen. And so I'm getting a lot of people doing that because
that makes sense, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Checking things up. Do you get anything from spirit about the satanic buildings being taken out?
Yes, it has to be.
Yeah,
nothing in understanding energy. They're not moving into those homes in Hollywood. I think they're going to start taking them down, and no one's going to want to move in there. No one's after. It's just it's filth.
Exactly. Look at why Melania didn't want to go into the White House with good reason when you find out what was going on underneath it. Oh my God.
So to cleanse anything, you have to bring in the light. So what is the best light? The reflection of the sun that beams upon the ground. And that's the thing is you have to condemn these walls that hold the memory of those situations and the pain and the suffering. And that's the whole thing. It has to come down.
Does that kind of energy linger?
It has to be burnt and desecrated.
Wow. Okay. Good.
Annihilated.
There's an awful lot of those buildings around.
You need to hire Native Americans, I'm telling you, for all this stuff that they're going to have to go and cleanse the land. I am telling you, and you're going to see these big bonfires to cleanse the land because it needs it. It's bad. I'm telling you, it's going to be a need for that. Because after you take all the material away and the water and all the stuff that you have, the land still needs to be cleansed.
Okay, I have this question. This frequently comes up, and I'm going to have to say the last time I talked to him, he was fine. Why he does not want to do anything, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Do you have a sense of anything?
Well, there's a lot of people that are not talking anymore.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go there any further than that, but that's a hint. Something wasn't exactly right, so
Right.
we'll see. Okay. Let's see. Do you see any other ones for? Oh my God.
What?
Someone had a horrible experience. They don't seem human. They're not human. Man that abducted, tortured, raped, and murdered my niece 20 years ago was pure evil. Yes, they are pure evil. They are demon possessed. Or they have no heart, they have no compassion, or they're not even a being
Well,
that belongs
not
here.
even a being, not even one with a soul, and they always think that it's a human. Not every one of them is a human. Some of them are just predators, and that's what they've been taught. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, people think you get into a situation where you're kidnapped, they think, you're just going to reason with the kidnapper, and like, no, they're probably going to. All they're thinking about is where they're going to bury the body, and where can they hide the evidence. And that's where you have to get into the mind frame. It's like, how do I get out of this vehicle? I don't care if I have to bite his balls off. I don't care. I mean, the ball area is always the best area. It puts them to the ground. So I don't care what you got to do. It's a survival mode instead of thinking they're going to have this glorified moment that they're going to let me go. No. Survival. So it's not good.
So, Vicky Horton, you're saying I get nutsy whenever he is mentioned. You're talking about Drake Bailey. Maybe it's because I have to answer people's requests about him constantly. I am asked so many times. He needs to come out and say something himself, that he's retired or he's not coming back on or whatever. It's not my responsibility. So yeah, I do. Maybe I do get a little nutsy. I'm not him.
Right. Yep.
He can answer that a heck of a lot better than me. I can't speak for somebody else.
Right. Maybe it's just the breathing.
Oh yeah, Finkelstein. That's the guy. That's that rabbi, I believe. Yeah, Finkelstein. I heard it a couple of years ago too. It is disgusting. It talks about McDonald's and he's evil to the core. He's a Satan, if not himself.
Yeah,
definitely has
something
going on there.
So
foundations.
For this next week, it literally, I think we're at the last part of the check marks, and the next, I would say, you think that everybody thinks this is the beginning of the year, that we can't go into another process like this for another year.
Oh, they can't do that to people. Yeah.
There's no more, and this is the thing I said, there's nothing to support you from behind you. There's no more funding to support you from behind you. So if you look at that on a balance scale, what's in front of you has the balance, and what's behind you has nothing. So you're going to go where balance is, and you're going to go where structure and strength is, and that's in front of you. So they're going to have to hold their breath and jump to the other side of the bridge.
Do you have any thoughts on Valiant Thor?
I have not run into that energy, and is that Lena Denon's?
No, that's the guy that was at the Pentagon. Valiant Thor, that guy, Commander.
No,
Thor.
I think he was here.
Venus.
I believe he was here at a certain time and interacting and trying to get them to make a accurate decision. I don't feel anything negative about him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's back, maybe in a new vessel here. What's the one that? Oh, that's Enki and Thorhan.
Oh, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay, let me hide that message. Yeah, I think, what they're saying about Valiant Thor is that he has light being family member here cleaning out the tunnels of
Right.
all kinds of nasty creatures and the things that's been
Right.
going on underground.
I remember reading about him, and when he went to Washington and interacted with all that.
Yeah,
There's pictures
yeah.
of him and that stuff. And
Mary, who does We the People News, she gets information from him on a fairly regular basis.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, and it's always positive. I mean, in as positive ways as it can be, and they're doing a good job. They're cleaning these horrible tunnels and getting rid of a lot of very bad creatures that people don't even know about.
You know how, and I heard there's a lot of gold underneath those, and that there's a certain person that's helping move those out too, along with all their wealth. So I'm sure, that's the whole thing. It's just getting it all. And that's not a female that's helping with, that's a male. I'd have to look up his name. I think a client of mine, Fran, posted his information, and he was a very humble person. I'll have to send that to you.
Okay. Somebody was asking about the Val Neck. I think is that what's her name? Rose's thing she talks to or whatever. I'm not sure.
Here, the Franz has it. It's Neil. This guy up here. He's looking at Franz in the group. So it's this guy.
Neil Keenan. Oh,
yes. So he's
a good guy.
Huh? Well,
I don't get that he's a good guy, but I don't know him, so I'm just throwing that out there. I have nothing to base that on.
Well,
Megan Rose, that's the name I was looking for. Yeah.
Research on him, on the information, and it's definitely not Kim Gogan doing that position. So
somebody is asking for your insight on another guy. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Where'd it go? Oh, here. This one here.
Oh, God. I think I've been very clear on that one. When he did the cell phone thing was just freaking everybody out. I said, go back, call him out. All you're going to hear is chirping birds on that day that the cell phone went. And it was barely a chirp. It was like chirp. And then the whole test was over, and he was just pushing the propaganda on that. And I told people to go back. He's too young to know that the position that he thinks he has. And so I already challenged him. I already said, hey, I want to do a challenge session. I'm good.
Yeah. I don't, he doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. So this is what I'm, okay. So Megan Rose, who you see, is real. Okay. She's not wearing a mask or anything else. I got to tell you, I knew her from the past, and then she's good-hearted. Her heart and her intentions are pure. She does want people to evolve on their own. I want you to understand how hard it is when you're younger to walk into this field and being around all these people. She's a good remote viewer. She's a good medium. I don't agree with everything that she says, but I can tell you her heart is in a good place of trying to get her message across of where she's at on things. And I'm proud of her of doing her own thing, her own way, and she's doing good. Do I feel that some people tried to control her
Oh,
a different way, and I knew that was going to backfire because she has a spirit about her of
there
finding.
was a time when Ilana just totally attacked her.
I know.
That she stole her work and blah, blah, blah. Well, we've
Right.
learned that that's not the case.
Right. We know.
Do you know who?
She's completely, she's completely Megan's ability, which I used to do some sessions with her. Megan's ability is very strong. I know that because I've seen it. And Elena Denon couldn't control that or contain it, you know. And when you're working with spirit and they're kind of led by that. And so she, and that became a problem for Elena, you know. And so you kind of, and I think in the spiritual path, you go through phases, you grow through things, and then you realize your path and how you need to do it. But Megan is not one that you can buy and sell her. She's not going to buy it.
She's not a sellout, in other words.
No.
That's good to know. Yeah. I haven't listened or seen her for years, or a couple years anyway. Somebody's asking about Yellow Rose for Texas. Do you know her? I think her heart's in the right place. I don't know if all her information is exact.
I didn't I didn't get a strength there with the information. I feel like I said, we get through certain processes where we're strong and weak at, and I just feel that we have to get new information. And
yeah. You're talking about an elder here anyway, to tell you the truth.
I know. So I just say that I wouldn't put any strength behind it.
Okay. Oh, here's another one. Cobra.
I don't even know.
You don't know him? Okay. Mm. Well, I would.
I have a lot of people ask me
the name. What's in a name?
I know, but you know what I'm saying?
Ask yourself that.
I think I watch these programs and I'm really busy and I focus on things and you have to put it right in front of me and they're like, Jen, and even my group, do you know this person? Like, no. Hasn't been put or presented in front of me. So you would have to show me a picture or connect an energy with that because I don't get anything with that because I don't.
Yeah, I don't even think he shows a picture of himself if I think about it. I just didn't like his name. If he's a snake, he's calling himself Cobra. So I'm going, yeah, okay. I'm not particularly fond of snakes myself. But Megan Rose has said, Valnick said the angels don't exist. I believe he's not a good one. So I don't know what that's all about. I didn't know that was said.
Angels exist. Here we go again. Angels exist.
So Valnick may not be a good guy.
I agree to disagree on that. That one energy.
Yeah, that's bah, girl, I agree.
Yes.
They're telling you straight up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, there are many angels. You don't want to go into the books that I have on angels because it's a lot. And like I said, again, you cannot erase what people have had in the mindset of those.
Kevin, I think you're spot on there.
I tingle where Jason is concerned.
Shirka is concerned, yeah. He doesn't resonate with me. I don't know
you're
why.
Too young to know a prop.
Yeah, he's
too young to know.
Okay, what's this next one?
Yeah, anybody that I'm telling you that they can't see the angels, I'm kind of concerned about that because they're there. They're pretty evident, and they're not normal size either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's something that you said in the past, and she has never shown her face. I asked her last week about yellow rose, no face. Jenny said if they don't show their face, she thinks they're no good. And yeah, why? Yeah, that's interesting.
Why haven't
Okay.
you showed your face? Why did you show your true identity? If you know what's behind you, you'll have faith in that.
I learned some things from her. I will have to say that. I learned some things that proved to be true by others as well. But that's not to say everything that was presented was, because I had
And
problems
the
with some
thing is, a
things.
lot of people come to me about opinions and stuff like that because I think they think, some people think it's because, I see through things and I'm just telling you what I see and what I feel. You can't get me on the deciding a balance of light or dark. I have to pick what I feel is true to it. You know what I'm saying? And that makes people feel uncomfortable that I won't pick one side or the others. I just say, this is what I feel. And this is the energy as a seer going through, examining, looking at it in layers and saying, hey, it's been that way all my life. Everybody's tried to push you on one direction or another. And I choose to take the path in the middle and say, no, I'm okay by myself.
This is interesting because this is another person we saw with a blue screen.
Yeah.
People are asking what happened. She's always on with a French Canadian dude. Well, they took her channel down at one point, so she was huge.
Yeah.
Very huge.
Yeah, cards.
Yeah, here. Megan Rose comes from a place of love. That's good.
Yes.
ED. Oh, yeah. I don't know about this either. You can comment on it if you like. And we know who that ED is. Lost me when she was selling Enki. Esmeril Perez says regarding Enki, did us so much harm.
As I've said, and I've done pictures of Enki and what he looks like and all this stuff, and the way I say, fuck Enki.
Well, that's blunt.
In the whole process, because I'm like, ask me about the question of Enki, and they said, well, always trying to make deals, just trying to make a good deal, and then it's not a power source you want to rely on. It's not in idolizing again, giving you a perspective to idolize. And this is the thing. If she would stay consistent on our mission, but she goes this way, then goes that way, then goes this way, then goes that way. It changes with the storyline. And I do not go behind people that cannot stay consistent on their path, because spirit is consistent. They don't, consistency is determination to get to the goal, to get what needs to be done, not swaying every time. This doing everything original, I would be impressed. Doing everything from original documentation to original form to original conversations, nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it from the minute I talked to her. I knew it before I even talked to her. So the whole process is the fact I just wanted to call out what I was already getting.
Yeah,
I don't save my breath on her because it's a huge disappointment. She could have gone down a different road, but she chose that road that she's going down on. And
exactly.
That's another one I would love to channel against her chip in their brain.
Wow. Okay. Where did this go? Oh, here. This is information that's been coming out a lot lately. As I understand, Kevin is saying this, as I understand, Enki and El Shaddai are all Elohim, or rather ET colonizers. They are not gods.
So I'm going to tell you, my protection is, with Creator, the angels, and all of that frequency. That to me is a confusion and trying to mix, things up. And when I look at that, they show me an energy that, like, no, don't go down this road with this situation, because it's going to lead to massive confusion. And why is this subject brought up right now? Again, why? Because the angels are on the deck clock. Why wasn't this brought up 6 months ago or a year ago? Why weren't they talking about that? It wasn't feeding the program. So what I'm trying to tell you, for me, it doesn't have any energy behind it all the way. That is not something I would base on the trueness. And the bottom line, I haven't seen that energy, that in where I get the information to follow that documentation. If I saw it and were able to have a conversation with that whole frequency, it'd be a different deal, but I don't feel it. So I believe it's used at the precise time it needs to be used as a propaganda. That's what I don't agree with.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, Jenny. This is so true too. We shall know them by the fruits they bear.
Huh. Deny the fruits that they will see in the future.
Yeah.
Those are going to be some sour fruits.
Yeah, rulers will be no more. Yeah, that's the truth too. Oh my God. Enlil Zeus. That's somebody saying Enlil Zeus.
No.
Yeah, demigods, so to speak, are people that have been here on the earth in the past years or whatever. Not significant players at this point in time by a long shot.
I haven't come across them. I've seen these higher councils, these energies, these frequencies, and I haven't come across them looking at those faces or those energies that I would recognize in that pattern that you would think would have this great knowledge of knowing, because it's not. It's not there. It's not on the level of being there. It's just, again, something that's spinning here to keep you away from the angelic presence. And the fruits that they bared and the wounds that they bared and the tribes of the tribulation that they have gone through for the humans, it's to, again.
Yeah, they're still pushing agendas and so on. What's this? I get that we're getting a whiff of something, but not the full story yet.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like I tell people, if you don't, you know what I'm saying? When you ask yourself that question, and you got to go with the consistency that you feel on that, like it's consistent of a strength with the information. This is not. This is come in from the left side and wants to stick and mix the whole situation up. No.
Okay. I don't quite understand. Is it Darina? Is that how you say that name? Why threaten people with death who talk about it? I don't know what. I
No one is
no idea
threatening them with death. At all. And you're saying something, but I am.
Yeah, I don't get where that's.
Yeah. So the thing is, it might be somebody that believes in that, but I don't. And you.
So bad to talk about it. I don't know where you're. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm giving you the option of explaining it more. Few people talking about it, and they don't make money with the info. Who you're talking about, and what are you talking about?
Right.
I really don't. I'm not following your line of thinking for some reason. We are free.
So she believes in that, and that's fine. Just wait till the end result of when it shows its truth, or it doesn't.
What's this? I don't know. I James Rink is a friend of mine. I've had him on my show probably a couple of years ago already. Says where they unmasked the cabal on MSN and it took 20 years for the normies to get over it.
Are you talking about the timeline with James Rink where they unmasked the cabal on MSN and they took 20 years for the normies to get over it? Okay. I'm confused you are too.
That's funny. Okay. Oh, Baja Girl says that's because Jesus wasn't his real name.
No,
It
that's
was
true.
Yeshua.
Jesus was not his real name.
Yeah. That was put in there by the cabal. Cliff High. Oh, she was talking about Cliff High. I don't know what Cliff High said, so I can't really respond to that, Dorina. I know that he was on a show with, who was it? Just recently too. I don't know, but I don't know. He's too much in his head. A lot of the time, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
Okay. To him that much. James Rink was on. He's been taken off of YouTube, just like I was. I mean, I have one that's still there. But
He's off YouTube now?
I don't know how long it'll be there because I got 2 strikes already. James Rink on YouTube for a while. He doesn't have. I don't think he has any YouTube channel anymore. I'm not sure, but
well,
you get taken down.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, so I just haven't talked to him, but he didn't mention anything about that.
Yeah,
so
he's a friend of mine too, and I just saw him on Facebook yesterday. As a matter of fact, he did a live with 2 or 3 other guests. I was trying to figure out their names because I didn't recognize the guests just from.
Yeah, the last time he talked to me, he went down to that event in Florida, and he was trying to interview someone, and the blonde Tinkerbell was upset that that he was trying to interview people at the event, and yeah, so which I told him, I said, bad idea because it's just going to backfire because she's about control. And so that he kind of showed me, and then they were upset because he took pictures, but there are other people taking pictures. So it's just something that she was trying to control and contain because he's all about the truth and he's about the information. He likes to put a documentation out there, and I knew that he was all about that. So when it comes down to him, he's still going to tell you the truth, how he feels about things. So there's no way you could have controlled him.
And he did a wonderful documentary on Nisargasara quite a few years ago.
Right.
4 hours long, something like that. It's big. But yeah, he cares about the truth.
Right. And when you push him to lie about it, he won't do it.
Okay. Well, my goodness, we're coming up on almost 2 hours. We're going to have to quit.
Yeah, you're going to. So yeah, they're.
So I guess do you have any final words for for our listening audience to take away?
Well, the only thing I have, is like I've always told people to listen to their own perception, their own instinct, their own path, and because that's what we're supposed to do right now. We're getting into the next process where all of this YouTube stuff and all this stuff will be gone, and they'll have everything that they need. So they're going to have to evolve in healing and developing and deciding what humanity projects they want to do. So it's all up to them now. There's no one to idolize. There's no one to look up to, that just the light and their own capabilities. That's the whole thing, is not having people limited on information anymore and listening to their own intuition and following Creator's light and developing in that across the board.
That makes sense. All right. Well,
so that's all I have. And then I always tell you, they can go to my website, get the information, set up mediumship classes, readings, remote viewing.
And so on. You do it all, right? You've been doing this kind of thing ever since you were very young.
Yeah, so
it's just
I'm
natural.
expecting big minions to come my way after the show. I'm sensing.
Yeah. Wide Awake says there's 7 levels of angels, and many of who have taken on human form are here, and that is true.
Yes.
And I don't dislike Cliff High at all, so don't think that I'm, knocking him. I don't always agree with him. But
another one I don't know and I haven't paid attention to.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but he is in his head a lot. But he means well. He's got he has a good heart. That's what matters. Okay. Yeah. Most of the deep state government people gone by from this earth by way of Gitmo. Okay. Yeah, James is on Rumble today, and that's my favorite channel too, because Rumble is not censoring people like YouTube. You can't talk the truth on YouTube. They won't allow it.
Yeah, they should go. You guys should go and ask James about what happened with that event and what occurred and how it went down, because and it was very rudely, but I expected that. But yeah, so to shut she just wanted to shut him up and shut him out, and also control who he can interview. So, and that's not going to happen. James will find a way to interview the person.
Good. All right. Yeah, James is a good guy. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for today. Today, as we have moving further and further out of 3D into 4D, and
right,
truth is coming forward as a result of that.
Right, and stand in the fire. Just stand in the fire and watch it burn, and just flow with it, because as it burns down, 4D is being created.
Indeed. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jenny, for your time and wonderful information, what you see. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. I know that YouTube won't give you a notification anyway, but it helps with the algorithm, so more people are able to see the show. But again, thank you so much for being here. And Jenny and I will be back again soon.
Okay. Take care, guys. Stay in the light.
Bye-bye.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny